Hello, welcome again to Impact Church. This is our 10 days of prayer for 2022. I want to share a couple verses with you about the rest of God. So Hebrews chapter 4, verse 7 to 11, it says this: Today, if you hear his voice. I love that. Today, if you hear his voice, God's speaking today. Do not harden your hearts, for if Joshua had given them rest, God would not have spoken of a later day. There remains, therefore, a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest has rested from his own works, just as God did from his. Let us, therefore, it says, make every effort to enter into that rest, so that no one will perish by following their example of disobedience. Now, I love how this starts. It says, today, if you hear God's voice, God's speaking. He's speaking in a really loud way. I mean, we're praying, and he's talking back. So the question is, what are you hearing? What's his voice saying to you right now? He's speaking words of promise, words of hope, words of possessing promises, words of moving into bigger and better, unprecedented things. I hope your heart, I hope your mind, I hope your life is flooded with vision for every area and aspect of your life. Unprecedented success, unprecedented fruitfulness across every area of your life, because that's what God's speaking into our lives. He's got big dreams for this. But listen to this. He's talking about Joshua here, he says, if Joshua had given the people rest. Now, Joshua was Israel's big commander. We've been tracking on Sundays with preparing to possess the promises, and we've been listening to how Joshua is leading the people of God into their destiny. And the Bible actually says in Hebrews that he actually failed. He actually failed to bring these people into rest. Now, here's the big idea here. God's got lots of dreams, lots of promises, lots of big things that he's speaking, that he wants to do, what he wants us to partner with. But this is how he's going to do it. He's going to do it by bringing us into his rest. And it's a bit of a mystery. It's a bit of a paradox. It's something that I've come to be okay with, though. And that's this. The more I rest, the more I find the more productive I am. And the rest of God, it's not just kind of a passivity where I'm just kind of checked out and not doing anything. But when I find myself in a deep, abiding place of trust, and I'm living out of the fullness of what Jesus did for me, somehow and in some way, mysteriously, I find myself to be incredibly productive. So we've got dreams, we've got visions, we've got big things ahead. Jesus is speaking big things. If you hear his voice, don't harden your heart. Don't let the excitement of it provoke you into fleshly works or provoke you into saying, I'm going to take this on my own. But I'll tell you what, when we rest in the finished work of Jesus, we're going to see some incredible things this year. The power of God married to the grace of God, and we're going to see God do things by our faith.